everybody. Welcome to 360 Coaching with Premier Teaching and Learning. Today I have a special guest for you, Miss Kara Guiff.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kara Guiff is an amazing person. She's a great friend. Thank God I have somebody in my corner every time as my cheerleader. She is that person. That is just one aspect of her. She is an innovative special education teacher with 30 years of experience. Amazing. She's in K-12 education. She is a leader, a trainer, an amazing speaker for Guiff Goodies Education, so make sure you look that up as well. She has been a resource teacher, interventionist, and a co-teacher in general ed classroom, and currently she's an alternative education instructor at White's Junior High blended learning environment, which is a big deal right now. She's so passionate about all the tools and methods that really help and impact teachers save time without sacrificing effectiveness. Kara loves keeping up with learning and new tech. She is my tech guru and teaching methods, and she loves and she gets so excited to share all of her resources with you guys. So you are invited to join her Facebook group, which is so cool, Thriving in SPED. So don't forget Thriving in SPED, or go to our website at guiffgoodieseducation.com, and I'll make sure I provide a link. But welcome, Kara.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here, Cassandra. There's nothing left to say about me because Cassandra just said it all. We became fast friends instantly when we met, so I just love Cassandra too, and her energy is so impactful to me, and so I'm super happy to be here for her and for her show, and I'm going to spend some time today talking about some ways that teachers can show progress for students over time. This presentation I have up was I built it for special education, but it's applicable to everything. So I'm going to take you through the nitty-gritty of it and let you know some ways that we can get our progress and show that, whether we're gen ed or special ed, and how we can do it whether we're in person with our kids or virtual with our kids, because that's the big deal right now. We still don't know where we're going to be, or if we start one way, we might end up completely remote again. And we want to make sure we have the tool in our tool belt that we need if that happens again, so we're not just surviving and we can thrive a little bit more.
Yes, I love that word, thriving. I'm excited, Kara. Go ahead and show us what great stuff you have for us.
Okay, so I always give extra tips. I never can stay completely on topic. That's just part of who I am. So there's two on the very front page. If you'd like a copy of the presentation I'm doing today, you can jot that down, pause video, get your camera out, whatever you want, and that will give you a copy of the presentation. And then this over here, slidesmania.com, I actually got the template I'm using for this presentation from there. I just found out about them a few weeks ago, but this person makes so many slide templates and most of them are designed for educators. So like if you want an online gaming slide presentation, she has one made up like a game board that you can use with your student. If you want more interactive, you can find ones like that. So it's just a great resource to check out. So those are your 2 free tips before we even get going.
Yes, I love new free.
Okay, and then this is just a little bit more about me. As Cassandra said, I am currently at White's Junior Senior High in the alternative junior senior high school. And our alternative program is in Wabash, Indiana, and it actually services the entire state of Indiana. So it's very unique in its nature because it actually seeks out students who are serving expulsion or having difficulty in school. So most online schools are servicing people because they choose that type of education for them, but ours is kind of like, hey, traditional school is not working for you. And so probation officers, court systems, special education staff, counselors, they all recommend our program to kids. And so about 50% of our population, which we have about, I think, 340 kids last time I checked, and about half of them are serving some type of expulsion, but the other half maybe just are having behavior issues, and they might get recommended to come here in lieu of pursuing expulsion, or some of them have medical needs or physical needs that make attending school regularly difficult for them, psychological. And so we just make education work for kids. That's what we do. And I absolutely love it. So I just changed in January after 29.5 years in the same school corporation. So that was a bit of a risk for me, but I did it. And then down there under my little hidden button that I don't know how to make go away is my Twitter contact. I have to sit still. I'm moving too much. I'll try to sit still. So you can find me on Twitter at Guiff. Yep, that was the problem. And then there's my email. So if you want to pause the video, take a picture of that so you can connect with me. I love to engage with other educators, share ideas, help solve problems. That's what makes us all better. So feel free to do that.
I love Kara because her group is really, they have so much to offer, so much to say. They go back and forth and everybody's just sharing content. So make sure definitely you try out that Facebook Thrive in Sped.
Yes, that Facebook group. It's just Thriving in Sped. And so you can find it, or if you email me or tweet me out, I'll get you the link to it. But it's super engaged. And if you want to know what people really think about issues involving special education and intervention, then it is the place to be. It really is. So I want you to just think about for a minute, think about the teachers that you work with and how data collection really went after we went, boom, everybody go home March 12th, and nobody ever set back foot in the building for 3 months. Nobody had time to prepare. And so we just have 3 options, and I just want you to think about which one you maybe fell in. Great, got all the data we needed, and hopefully maybe a few of you were in that place. In my school, we were, because we are already 90% virtual, so we actually didn't have to do that much of transition in there. But I know for most schools, that's not what happened. And then most of us, I think, fell in number 2. We did our best, but we didn't get all the data we needed. And so it was hard to make judgments on how much progress somebody made. No. And then we had those that fell in 3. What? We were supposed to keep getting data? Like, we all knew that in the back of our head, but with everything else we were trying to do survive, there was no time to figure out, oh my gosh, how I'm going to do that also. And so teachers did what they always do, and they stepped up and they did the best they could. But we know it wasn't the best it can be. And so our job now is to figure out, what do I need to do to prepare if this is how I have to move going forward? And so that's what I want to share today.
The 2 and the 3, like, oh my goodness, how am I going to collect data when there's no response? So I am with you. 2 and 3, yes.
Yes. It was quite a challenge for a lot of people, I know. So really, I'm going to show you several tools today, and what I'm really passionate about is teachers, educators, and students becoming comfortable with video and auto recordings, because it's so at our fingertips. There's no excuse for us not to record. It used to be like, oh, it's so hard, I got to go check out the camera, and I got to make sure it works with the computer I have, if I have a computer, or I have to get it from the camera to the computer or onto a DVD. Well, those days are gone. With a click, you can record, and it's easy, and it's saved forever. And when we are showing actual student work over time, and we make these little recordings over time all through the school year, then we're going to end up with, at the end of a grading period or a semester or a school year, we can go play back that video from week 1 and the video from week 36. This is not the same student. And sometimes our standardized test doesn't show that progress, but this is going to show it. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're special ed, gen ed, we all have response to intervention. We're trying to work with our tiers in intervention. So it's not just a special ed thing. Everybody needs a good record of what progress is being made in order to make the decisions on what's best to go next. So the absolute easiest way, without doing anything brand new or having to learn anything new except maybe the recording tool, is to use Google Presentation Slide or PowerPoint. So I'm going to show everything in slides today, but if you're PowerPoint, Microsoft School instead, it doesn't matter. You can do all of these things, and you'll know how to do it in PowerPoint, or you can look it up. Taking the time to show both is just redundant because it's just a different button you have to choose. So if I'm going to show you what I do to set that up to get started. Oops, if I can click on there without. Okay, so at the beginning of a school year, I'll take a slide presentation and set it up like this, where I'm just putting the student's name. And in order to keep this as confidential as possible, you want to just put the first name of the student in there, because the other thing that technology gives us is the ability to share this with every stakeholder. So I can share this not only with every teacher who has the child, I can share it with the child themselves, and I can share it with the child's parents, who can then share it with the grandparents if they want. Because now this isn't just a conversation about, oh gosh, we were talking about Susie's reading and it's hard for her. How'd she do this year? And you're not proud about that. Instead, you have a record of how much she, and so parents love to use this as a brag book, and they should, and kids love to look at it. Look how I used to read, 2 months ago, Mrs. Guiff. And so that's what we want. Every stakeholder involved, everybody who has an interest in that child be able to see it. And yes, we need to make sure that we are protecting the confidentiality of that student, but not to the extent that we can't share anything. And I think that sometimes in education, we go too far the other way. What do you think about that, Cassandra?
You're right, we do. We go too far the other way, and we don't allow students to share, what's working or what they're doing well. But this is a great opportunity, I love the fact that, you could share it with everybody. And I love the fact that you can record it and have students show their recording and their progress through time. Yes. This is pretty amazing.
And they take ownership of it too. And I know, I've been in education, as Cassandra said, a long time. I just finished year 30. And I know that for the first 10 to 15 years, what I did was not best practice. What I did is what they taught me how to do in school, and I regurgitated it to survive my first 2 years teaching until I started figuring out how to do it better for students. And we would take data, and I can't even believe we used to do this, Cassandra. We would take data and never show it to anybody until the end of the year meeting. What is the point? What were we doing? It was a big secret. And so the student didn't even know what they were aiming for. Only the teacher did. And who's that helping? Absolutely nobody.
No.
So it's so easy now to share it with everybody that we need to do that. They get excited. I used to say, okay, it's progress monitoring day, and students were like, oh, great, I have to do that again. And now they're like, when do I get to show you again how good I've gotten? And so that's what we want to embrace, and that's what we want to share with everybody. So like I said, this is just a super simple way to do this. And I just put a little chart in here so that I can have the date and the result of whatever it was. So if they were supposed to be reading 35 words a minute, then I would put the date. They've got 10 words a minute. The date, they've got 12 words a minute, whatever it is. This is just the result page. Okay, but this is a Google slide. It's not a one-page document. So that's where there's even more power in it. So then I go down here, and I've just got one where I just practiced filling in some things so you can see what that might look like. So this one's trying to do capitals and lowercase. So on this date, they knew 10 capitals and only 3 lowercase. And then each date would be in there, how you would fill that out.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, what?
No, I said, oh, that's good. I like actually showed us that, and how it relates to the standards, because at first I'm thinking well, would this be just reading? Would it be decoding? Would it be, but you can pretty much.
And you could use it with anything. You could use this for behavior, for wait time, for how long they take to follow directive. It's anything that you're trying to show progress on a student can be done like this, because it's just blank. So the sky's the limit. But we have all these other slides, and we can just add as many slides as we want. You're like, great, Carrie, you put a bunch of blank slides in there, so what? So here's the power of the blank slide, okay? So what it would look like in theory is on 8/24, I'm going to open up a new slide, and I'm going to put some text in there. I only have half my screen, so I'm trying to click the right thing. So I'm going to put some text in here, and I never have to put the student name again, because the student name is on that first slide. We know whose this is. And the only data going on this slide deck is for Susie Q, no other student. And so I'm going to say, so this is 8/24/2019, caps, lowercase, letters. I cannot type and talk at the same time. We've proven it.
You're doing a great job.
I have my lowering caps. That's not helpful. There we go. And then this was, let's see, what was I trying to say? Okay, caps and lowercase. So I've got that. So then I can pop over here, and I have an extension that's called, excuse me, Awesome Screen Recorder.
Hmm. Awesome.
And it is the absolute easiest, quickest screen recorder you can find. I know there's lots of fancy ones, and whatever you're using is fine. So if you have Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic, or if you're on a Mac and you have iMovie built in, use it. You do not have to use what I'm showing you. So this is the Ace Thinker. It's linked in the presentation. And so I've turned it on, got it working, and I've turned on my cam with it. Let me get my little menu up here so you can see. So the webcam, for whatever reason, well, the X means it's not working, so you don't see my picture here anymore. And then when I turn it on, you can see my image and what's on the screen. And I actually think it's using my secondary camera, so I think you'll be able to see everything okay. So then I'm recording the entire screen. I'm trying to drag my outline in so that's in the right place. And then I'm going to click record. And what I love is that countdown, because it gives you time to collect yourself and the student. And so then I'm recording the screen, and I can go back over here to my slide, and it's still recording. See the red outline? That indicates that it's still recording. So it's recording me, my picture right here, and I can see these letters that are on the slide. So if this is Susie Q at home supposed to say her lowercase letters, I just have this randomized picture. And so I've either taught her or her mom, or maybe there's an IA on a computer virtually, or maybe they're in a classroom. Like I said, this works no matter where they are once they know how to do it. And so for Susie Q for reading today, it tells her to get on there and do her lowercase letters, whatever directions you've left her. And so she just goes H, and she's pointing, and she says P, I don't know, B, O, D, and she says all of her letters like that. And when you say stop, this little red box up here is going to stop it. My recording starts right away to play. I can pause it. Sorry, that was a lot to listen to. And then, can you see this, Cassandra, in your area?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Like you could.
Okay. So there's like a little, it cracks me up. We still use this old floppy disk for a save sign. Nobody uses floppy disks anymore. But there's this little floppy disk, and you can save the video. And if you save the video file, it will go onto your computer wherever your default is. So if you're on a Chromebook, it's going to put it in your drive. If you're on a laptop, it's going to put it in your downloads. But you can go and set it. I've got mine set to go into a video folder, so I always know where my videos are. You also could save it as a Guiff file, which you wouldn't need for this purpose, but that's how you put it like on a presentation differently, but we're not going to mess with that for today. So I just use this one and save the video file, and then it's done. It's saving it, and you're done. You also can upload it to the cloud someplace if you want to. Honestly, I've never done it. And then you can play it. But it's right there, and so mine's in there. So now I can go back to my slide and insert a video. So you could insert from YouTube. We don't have it on YouTube, but we have it in a Google Drive. So if you're on a Chromebook, it went right to your Google Drive. Sorry about that, I forgot one step. So since mine is not in my drive already, I've got to go to my drive. Now I'm not sure you can see my entire screen there. Is that better?
Yep.
So I can upload this into my drive. That's because I'm using slides. If you're using PowerPoint, it's going to find it from your laptop or whatever. So because I'm in Google using a Google slide presentation, that's where it's asking to find it. And this is where all my uploads go. And so it's right there is what I just recorded. So I just double click it, and it's putting it into my drive. And it will take just a few seconds to do that, and then I can rename it. And so I'm not going to take the time to do that on this live presentation. I'm going to go back to my example, and I'm just going to insert any old video from my drive that I have. So I want to insert a video from my drive. And so actually there's a new one that came up already. And so I just click that and embeds it right in there on my slide. And it's still formatting it so you can't see it. So we'll go back to that later, but what it's going to be is the video of the student actually reading those letters in order. And so then you've got your number that they got correct, and you just go back up here and add it to your data sheet.
This is amazing, Kara.
Yeah. When I first figured this out, I was like, why have I not done this sooner than I did? And so you have a visual representation of the 9 times or however many times you did that in the school year. And then the power of it in sharing is you don't have to share this just with it looking like this, because this is messy. If a parent opens it and they have no idea what Google Slides is, it could be hard for them to even know how to click in it or whatever, and they don't need to see it like this. So there's this little trick, and I know it's in PowerPoint too. You just have to look for where it is, or Google, somebody has shown you how to do it, I'm sure. And so you can file, and there's this little thing called publish to the web that people just aren't real familiar with. And so you publish it to the web. You want it to forward, I usually set that to 10 seconds. So they will auto forward after that, but if somebody clicks on it, it will stop for them. You want the slideshow to start as soon as the player loads, or if you leave that off, somebody has to click it to make it play. But I always have it start right away because, like I said, they can pause it, get back out of it if they want. And then it will restart from the beginning when it gets to the end if you click this. So I'm just going to click that for these purposes. And it is done. It is published. So I am going to...
So you mean to tell me that people that see it won't see all the pieces of...
Yep, I'm going to show it to you. So I'm copying this. So I copied the link to it. And so this is the link you would share with the student or the parent or at the case conference, wherever you want to share it with the classroom teacher, with the special education teacher. And they just go in here and put this to search in their URL. And there is,
wow.
So this would say Susie's, and her goal would be there. And then in 10 seconds, it will rotate. But you can click and rotate it just as if you're, and so I can just rotate that through as much as I want.
Wow.
I added those blank slides, so it's silly. And then I could go back to the beginning and see that as many times as I want. And it auto updates. You don't have to republish it every time you add data to it. Yay! Because nobody wants to redo work.
No!
So that link is to this slideshow. It's just as if it put it in present form. But they don't have to go through all of that. They just get it like this on the web. And it's a nice little slideshow for them to see that progress.
That is amazing. And then, you know, I'm thinking they could just have it for the end of the year. I mean, and just upload data, update data, and you can just share. Because many times, I guess we're in the classroom, it's very hard to share data besides for a parent-teacher conference. When you
Yes, it is. It's weird. And you're trying to explain how the student did in words, and words aren't enough. And you all just saw how easy it was to hit record. So as long as we get people comfortable with it, we'll be okay. It's building that, we have to be comfortable with it, or pretend that we're comfortable with it so that our students will be comfortable with it. Yes. And that's what we do as teachers all the time. We're like, okay, I don't want to do this new thing, but I have to pretend I like it because I got to get my students to like it. And after a while, you'll be like, why did I never use this before? And so teachers can do this for any skill they're trying to record progress on. Of course, you can't do it for everything because it'd be too much, but you can choose the areas that you're trying to show growth in. And so for IEPs, that would be the IEP skill. But if you were in a general ed reading class, math class, science class, pick something, whatever it is you really want to show that the student could do better over time, and there you've got a proof of it. There's no qualms about it. It's standards-based grading at its best, really, because we prove if they have the standard or not. They either can do it or they can't. So the student could, let's see if this is loaded now. There. So there's on my little video, we just get to where I'm. So it's right there. Obviously, this isn't how it would look, but yeah. If a student's too shy, they could hold something over their face. But you're hearing your student's voice, seeing your student. And so also what this does, I know this is a very primary example, but in secondary, when grades are more critical for kids, teachers are becoming worried about, how do I know that a student really did this work or somebody else did it for them? Well, in comes the webcam. I know everybody's not one-to-one. I don't have the solution for all of that. But if you are a school that's one-to-one, then kids can hit record every time they take a quiz. Yeah. And we can tell that they're the one taking the quiz and it's not their parent or their buddy doing it for them. And so we might have to be thinking about doing things like that when you're going to take your unit test for math chapter 3. You certainly don't want grandpa's work.
Yeah.
You can't pass that child if you don't know they did it. And so this is a way that that can happen. There is just an online voice recorder that's going to be a little bit easier for you. And so this one is just only going to do audio. And like, talk about easy, here it is. I click this and I'm recording my voice. That's it. I have to download nothing and I'm recording my voice. You can see it's recording it because you see the different volumes there. And then when I stop, I actually could pause and keep going on. And then when I hit stop, it's there. I can play it back. Oh, I was like, where is the little download? Our picture's under it. And then I save it, and it's in my downloads. It automatically goes as well. And so I could do the same thing. I could insert that file onto anything from my downloads. And there's also one that's that easy for screen record, or not screen recording. This one would just only record the person and not the screen. So if you just need the child to say something, maybe they've got what they're reading on a piece of paper in front of them, and so they don't need to record the screen with it, then there's an online video recorder that looks very much like that audio we just did. There's nothing to download. It's right here. I think my camera is confused. There we go. And again, you just hit that button, and now I'm automatically recording myself until I stop, and then it will automatically save it. And it goes down like this, but then you can save it, get it on your drive or onto your laptop, and it's there for you to use, and it's super, super easy. It's just a little bit of taking time to show. Hopefully we get some in-time person with these kids so that we can help them get comfortable with it. If not, we're going to have meetings with parents and help parents and kids get comfortable with this. And I am all about saving time. Like, if you know anything about me, I want things that save time for educators and don't make us sacrifice effectiveness. So both of those are always key in everything that I'm talking about and sharing. And this is a little bit of time in the front getting it ready, but the time you will save in the end is so great that it's worth it. And that's how we have to start looking at things in education. Is it worth my time on the front so that A, I've saved everybody time in the end, and B, I have great stuff, because you will have great stuff if you do this.
Yes, this is so good. And, you know, it often, too, it reminds me of our small groups. Many times, pull students for decoding, and this could be the one-to-one decoding and the conversation that we have with the students, and we can actually track, monitor, and see the skills that they need. So, yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, their assignment can be to turn in the recording of their little small group reading section. Like, you can clone yourself. And then I just have one more tool I just really want to show you today. And if you've not heard of Flipgrid, I don't know where you've been, because it's been all over everything. But Flipgrid has upped their game so much recently. You can do so much with Flipgrid. When it started, all you could do was just record. And it was nice, but it wasn't a tool that was really that user-friendly. And now you can screen share, you can have a whiteboard behind you, and so teachers can use it for lots of things. But it is the perfect progress monitoring tool and the perfect way to show progress over time for kids. Even easier, I think, than using slides and PowerPoint, because the video is already embedded in it. You don't have to go outside and then add it to. And so it makes it a little easier. I start with slides and PowerPoint because usually people use one or the other of those. And so if we give them one piece of something they're familiar with, they're willing to give it a try. And so Flipgrid might be completely new, but if you can get people into Flipgrid, it is so, so, so easy. So this is my dashboard, and they call them your grids, and grids are basically kind of just folders. So these are my Guiff Goodies for Education grids, and these are my progress monitoring example grids. And here's a grid I made for Joseph G. that's actually a sample of a student grid. And so I'm going to go into my progress monitoring example. And this was a fluency check for September of 2020. And so when students open this, they see instructions, get the reading passage for today. You will find it in Google Classroom, but that might not be what it says. Maybe it's not Google Classroom. Maybe they have to open their textbook and read page 34. So however you want them to get the text that you want them to read, you have to tell them how to get it. And then they're going to read the passage while they record themselves. Again, how do we know that somebody is not sneaking words in on them? Because we could hear it. They're recording. So we know we're really getting their reading and somebody's not coaching them along the way. And this is key, teaching them to not redo the recording. This isn't about giving you the best recording you can. And I've had students before who, oh my gosh, they're just dying. So I would have to let them do 2 separate recordings. And the one is what we would grade for fluency, and the other one, they could show me how very best they could read that. I didn't need to know that, but it made them feel better.
And it does cause anxiety too when students have to be perfect or
yes.
they figure out what you want. So the fact that you say do not, redo the recording is okay. Well, I'm just going to put it out there. And
right. And it's okay. Whatever happens is okay because it's not for a grade. It's not high stakes. We just want to see how you can do. Yeah. And they get better about doing it as video as they go as well. As you can imagine, the first time you make a video of anything, you're very nervous. And then the more you go on, you're like, oh, well, this is old hat, and I'm more relaxed doing it. Usually, that's the way it works. So they do that, and then you can click on that, and then you see it pops up view as a student, and it will automatically take me to that student view. So I don't have to go to a new window or make a fake student account. I'm allowed to see myself as a student account. So the grid pops up, and now I see this plus because this is how I create it. And they're going to put the date on it, and that's what it's going to be. And then as a teacher, you can go on here and you can record instructions. So I can click this, and then to do something, it's going to ask me to log in again. It always does. It's like a double check. And then now I can say, hi, student. So today we're going to do our fluency check for October. It's been a whole month since the last time I got to hear you read and check how your fluency is doing. Remember, this is not for a grade, so take a deep breath and you're just going to do your best. And then I'll stop my recording. It'll let me play it back. This is how students see it on Flipgrid as well. Yeah, it's not doing my system sound, so I obviously would need to redo that, but I'm going to pretend it's great. So I'm good. Next. And then they get to make a selfie, which is fun. Mm-hmm. So they take a little picture of themselves. I can add a password for another layer of security if I want. I don't seem to find that necessary. And then here's the code. You can copy it. You can email it to the parents. You can email it to the student. You can put it on Seesaw, Schoology, Canvas, Google Classroom. However you get stuff to kids, you can copy and paste that link there. And so if today's assignment is to read that fluency passage, you just tell them to go to that Flipgrid and do it. And then you've got that whole record in there.
Kara, how often do you use Flipgrid?
Well, it depends on what I'm doing. So it depends on the goal. So since I'm special education and if I need to do it 10 times a grading period, then we're going to do it 10 times a grading period for that goal that I'm trying to do that way.
All right.
But people use it for different things. So, I mean, you can wear it out just like you can wear out anything. So that's why it's nice to have other ways to do it. If they get sick of Flipgrid, put it on a slide and they think it's something new. Exciting.
That's good.
So those are the main things I wanted to share. If you do get that presentation from the other link, there's lots of examples I put in on ELA and Math specifically of where you could get resources to have the probes that you need and then resources that you could use to actually get the data that you need. This Math video sometimes isn't the best way to do that for a specific goal, but things like Khan Academy and Prodigy will allow you to put specific kinds of problems in there and then keep the record of how well they did each time on them. So you can progress that way as well. There is nothing in my 30 years that I've used that has helped students increase their reading comprehension levels better than read theory. And so I will never teach reading without read theory. And bonus, it's free 100% forever. They don't plan to ever charge for it. So even better when you can find this fabulous tool and it is free. And then another bonus, you don't have to do anything except set the student account. It's adaptive. And so it works completely on where the student is. And based on their score it gives them a different story next. So for an example, if they start on a third grade story, I say story, but I should say text because it's a mix of nonfiction and fiction. So if they start at third grade level and they get a 90% or higher, then the next text they'll get will be fourth grade level. But if that third grade level, if they got between an 89 and a 70, they will get another third grade level. And if they get below a 70, they will get a second grade level next. And so Read Theory automatically does all that adapting for you. You don't have to do anything except put the students in, and this is my spiel, go over the data with the kids. When they go in there, they take a pretest. Sorry, I clicked on that one. They take a pretest, and so this student went and took a pretest and got 7th grade level on the pretest. Well, then he tried really, really hard on that. And again, I'm all about front loading. You've heard that several times today. So as long as you let them know that you're wanting to make sure they do their best on this, they'll give good effort. You've got to do some motivating with them and give them time in class to do it. Don't ask them to do it at home. Not going to get a good result. The pretest can take between 20 and 50 minutes, just depending on the student and how long they take to process what they're reading and answering. So this student did do his very best on that. But then, since then, he's taken 38 tests and only passed 8. So now we're doing some guessing. Just trying to say, Mrs. Guiff, look, I got 10, 15 more done. And so we'll have conversations about that with that student. And so now they're working only at about 4th grade level on their average stories. But you'll be able to see this for every student in this format. It also gives them knowledge points. I think they get a point for each question they get right on a quiz. And then if they pass a quiz, they might get like 10 extra or something like that. And then the points turn into badging levels for them. Yeah. But this is only a piece of the progress. You also get to see it like a line graph. And so you can see when the student came in, they tested at 7th grade level. They did not pass the first story they got at 7th grade level, so they went down to 6. They passed it, didn't pass it, didn't pass it. And then they kept passing at 4th grade, but they couldn't get that 90%, remember? For the students, you'll see that for grade level, and then you'll also see it for Lexile if you like the Lexile instead. Personally, myself, I don't like the Lexile data. Doesn't make a lot of sense to kids, so I stay away from it. But I know some schools require it. Then it also checks 3 areas of standards. It checks craft and structure, integration of knowledge, and key ideas and details. And then when you go down here in the quiz history, you can see every quiz the student's ever taken.
Wow.
Date, the level, and how much they got correct. And this comes in handy because I like to tell my kids they have to pass 3 stories a week with 80%. You also can click on the student stories and you can see their exact answers. So I forgot, this is a new feature they just added, yeah.
Please, I love this.
Yeah, you didn't used to be able to get to do that. And so you can see the questions and the text.
No, I love Kara. Like I said, you guys, you got to follow her, and she has bonus stuff. So
I do. I'm excited that I have a course actually starting on August 1st that is on virtual progress monitoring. And so if you have teachers that you know need it or you need it yourself, I'm basically, it's going to be 6 hours of work, and you can complete it in 3 weeks, or you can take up to 6 weeks. And you will be able to learn how to do I just went quick over everything. I'm sure it was a little overwhelming. So I'm going to show all about using video, audio, images, how to do that in Slides, how to do that in Flipgrid, Adobe Spark, so many more things than I was able to list today. I mean, just look at all of these links I have that we didn't have time for, and more, because this is an 1.5-hour presentation, and we're talking about 6 hours of practice. And so they'll get some time to create their own pieces to start the next school year with as well. So I'm excited for that. And if you sign up with the link that Cassandra puts, then you'll be registered to win a free seat in that course. And you can use it yourself or you can pass it on. I don't care who gets the seat. And then everybody else who registers will get a discount if they decide to take the course as well. So I'm excited about that.
Ooh, I'm excited about that. I will definitely do it. Thank you, Kara. It's always been a pleasure to work with you and just listen to you. You have so much to offer.
Thanks. I've had fun being here. Here, babe. Bye.
Bye.